From BLC Studios in Mankato, Minnesota, this is the Bethany Vikings podcast, hosted by Brock Aaker.
I am Brock Aaker. Welcome to another edition of the Bethany Vikings podcast. Today, I have a loaded episode for all of you. First, I have a special exclusive one-on-one interview with UMAC Commissioner Borchardt. We take a close look at that week in March where UMAC sports was changed due to COVID-19. And then we talk about how COVID-19 might also affect fall sports this year. And then finally, we go down memory lane, what happened just 2 months ago where the Vikings won both men and women UMAC tournament basketball championships, as Borchardt got to witness both of them since they're hosted by Bethany. Following the interview, we have the most competitive matchup yet of the first round of the Bethany Initials Tournament. Hanna Geistfeld, Sarah Presler, Keegan and Logan Nissen fight off to see who will go to the championship and face Derek Lingholm and Jakin Anderson next week. All right, let's get to the interview with the UMAC Commissioner. Hi, we are now joined by the UMAC Commissioner, Borchardt. Corey, how are you doing today with this quarantine?
We're doing well, finding the positives and still, trying to accomplish what we can, but certainly is a unique spring and unique circumstances that we're navigating through, not just at the conference level, but our institutions and members, unprecedented territory and uncharted waters as well for both the institution and the conference level. But there is a lot of good still coming from the spring. Those certainly we wish this week in particular we'd be having our spring championships right now for tennis, softball, track and field this weekend, and would much rather still be doing that, that's for sure, but trying to still be productive with what we can.
Could you give us, you talk about the unprecedented time, it's only been a little over a month now, but could you give us the timeline when this COVID-19 came up and then all the discussions you had and then finally having to cancel the spring sports?
Yeah, in early March, and I can go back and, look at exact dates, but early March, really, on the two coasts, the eastern and the western part of the country, certainly we started to see growing concern and projections models that I think, particularly for the two coasts of our country, people really started to take notice and realize this is going to be something we're going to have to deal with and tackle. And so I think still that first week of March, there was a sense, at least in the Midwest, maybe it wouldn't impact us that quickly, or we'd have a little bit more time to plan, prepare, adjust as needed. But then by that second week of March, March 12th, March 13th, it seemed like reality was setting in that we were going to have to really do some contingency planning and adjust what we were doing. We were holding out hope. We really wanted to try to provide a student-athlete experience, even if it was adjusted, it looked a little different, it was modified, reduced, maybe some. We still wanted to provide whatever we could from a student-athlete experience standpoint. And we're holding on to hope, that our championships, we could still offer some type of opportunity for our athletes. But as our institutions started to make decisions around, mid-March, then March kind of 13, 14 through the following few days, our institutions really started to make more choices and decisions that they needed to, understandably so. That really impacted us at the conference level then, because what we talked about at the conference level was, as long as we have enough institutions that we're still trying to offer athletic students, we're still on campus, we were going to try to adjust and do what we could at the conference level. But as more and more of our institutions made the difficult decision to send students home, go to all online distant learning, platforms and models, unfortunately, then that really cemented the reality for the conference. We just weren't going to have student athletes that were even on campuses still to try to provide an experience. So from a timeline standpoint, by kind of that middle of March, third full week, we were really, starting to wrap up decisions and kind of start working through the next phase then of all the questions, compliance, eligibility, all those types of questions that started to emerge.
I guess I'm kind of curious. The NCAA Division I was the first ones to start canceling things. Can there be a difference between D1 canceling, like, let's say fall sports, and D3 go on? Or if D1's not going to play, does that mean D3 can't play too? Or how do you guys involve between the three divisions?
Yeah, good question. How does the governance work? So it is possible where Division One could do something different for their championships, for their sports seasons compared to Division Two or Three. So there is the structures in place for that to happen. But each division has a leadership group. For Division Three, we call it the President's Council. That's the highest ranking, kind of governance group for Division Three. But above that is the NCAA Board of Governors. So this group has ultimate authority, makes all of the final decisions, and they would have the authority to dictate what divisions would have to do. So in the case of this last winter and spring, the Board of Governors made the decision to cancel all remaining winter championships and then all spring championships for all three divisions. And so at that point, there really wasn't an opportunity for Division Three to say, well, we think we can still, try to provide our spring championships or, modify. For the fall, and kind of going into next year, I think you will see, but I think there is a higher likelihood where there could be some differences in terms of what Division One does for certain sports versus Division Three. And part of that is just the difference in what does that look like. So as an example, of course, the crowd sizes for Division One, are going to look much different than Division Three. Now, don't get me wrong, there can be Division Three football games with 10, 15,000, 20, 30,000 people too. But generally speaking, it's a different talking about crowd, size of teams, all those pieces that will go into it. So to get back to your original question, there are opportunities where the divisions can be different, but there also are some situations where the Board of Governors essentially dictates where there's going to be consistency and all divisions have to do the same thing.
So, like you said, this weekend was supposed to be softball, tennis championships. Your schedule has to be different now with all this. What is a normal day for a commissioner now with all this?
Yeah. I don't know if there is such thing as a normal day or a day that looks the same, if you will, from the day before. I've told some people this. It feels almost as though we're more busy and it's a more intense spring than if we were, operating kind of in a quote normal or the usual circumstances. And part of that is our schools are just trying to navigate through so many decisions and planning and contingency planning for next year already that there's a lot of conversations, a lot of meetings, a lot of dialogue as far as how do we react to this? How do we better prepare for next year? What can we do to be strategic for next year? So a lot of my days are doing similar to this, a lot of Zoom meetings. There's days where from 9 or 10 to 3, I might be on Zoom meetings, still engaging with people. We've done a lot of meetings with campus groups. So just in the last week, we had 2 different UMAC schools where we had a Zoom meeting with all of their coaches and staff. And they just asked questions. What could the fall look like? What type of models are we looking at? Compliance related questions. So we're still interacting with our membership a lot, engaging with them, doing planning for next year. And really what this spring, unfortunately, at the expense of our student athlete experiences has provided, we've been able to do more strategic planning, get into some bigger projects that we normally, don't always get to, or kind of down on the list that maybe we don't make as much progress on, future scheduling, things like that. So we've been able to tackle some things that we probably wouldn't have otherwise. But I think the intensity feels even higher just because of we really haven't stopped working through all the different pieces or layers to this situation, both now for the spring and for next fall, next winter.
Can you share some information about the UMAC mental health initiative, especially like in this where players aren't on campus or everything, but making sure their mental health still up to speed in this dark time kind of?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great question and a really important piece in terms of the topic that you hit on. We recognize for student athletes, it's such a huge part of their identity to be with their team, to be playing, to be competing. It's a part of the, collegiate experience and a big part of it. So to all of a sudden have that reduced or taken away completely and minimized, certainly is a significant impact on student athletes and just their daily life, normal life, mental, well-being. And so we've done a few things intentionally to try to address that, and we'll continue to do that. Really, from a conference perspective, more of our focus and efforts are working with administrators and then our coaching groups to provide mental health resources, webinars, access. But our hope is then that the coaches can kind of pass those on to the athletes, or, the institutions then are able to utilize those resources with the athletes and teams. Because certainly, student athletes may listen to us in the conference office, but we know best that their strongest relationships are with the coaches. And that's who, they have a high degree of trust, interaction with, and, more candidness, disclose things, how they're really doing. So we're really focused on providing things to our coaches and our administrators at the campus level that then hopefully help the student athletes as well. But you're going to see more and more opportunities come this spring and the summer. The NCAA is doing now more opportunities for student athletes, webinars, some resources individually, even where student athletes can take advantage of interacting with, counselors, psychologists, mental health experts that can help student athletes on a real individual basis. Because the reality is we can put out all kinds of great, webinars and resources and materials, but for student athletes that are really struggling and really need kind of that next level of help and guidance, we need to connect them with experts in that area who can really be individually focused and help them in their particular situation or aspects that may be unique to their struggles.
What has been kind of a highlight or one thing you've really learned about this process this past month, or any events stick out this year where you felt that you've improved upon what's going on really in this time?
Yeah. I think one thing, maybe it transcends just work in terms of the conference and the UMAC and the athletics nexus, but just life in general and people. But I've seen it affirmed in terms of our conference and our schools working together and administrators. When we were in the previous normal, just the speed of life, the busyness of it, the intensity of it, the sports world is certainly, a pretty fast-paced environment. I think sometimes that care, that concern for people, was lost or minimized or not as high on the priority list for people. And so I certainly sense this has kind of given us a chance to reset a little bit in terms of remembering the importance of just how are they doing? What is their emotional well-being, showing care for each other, reaching connected with in a long time, or, much more consistently than perhaps you did in the past. So I think that's been a key, I don't know if outcome or observation, I guess, that I've seen is just that human to human interaction in a positive way has become, more of a focus and emphasis for a lot of people. From a conference standpoint, from a, athletics, I guess, viewpoint specifically, I think what's been cemented is how critical that student athlete experience is. And I think that was the tough part and challenging part for everyone to have to make the decisions that our schools did at the campus level and then at the conference level and national levels as well, was not done lightly and with a lot of consternation, a lot of grief, a lot of sadness. And I think that was affirmed just seeing the impact that it had on student athletes. But I think what was neat is then just seeing how our student athletes have overcome it. And, it doesn't mean in any way that it's been fun, enjoyable, ideal or desirable, but just teams have been creative, overcoming it, making the best of it, staying connected, working with their coaches, gives me hope and belief that whatever that new normal looks like when we get back to it, there's still going to be a lot of good that we'll look back and say we were able to capitalize on.
You talk about that new normal, and you said that the different governance between D1, D2, D3, but for fall sports this upcoming fall, do you feel like there's a deadline for you to say we're going to have fall sports or fall sports is going to be canceled?
Yeah. Well, I'll answer that from a few different pieces that are part of the puzzle, because it certainly is a puzzle and not not a one-piece puzzle. It's a large puzzle in that sense. So a few key parts. I don't think you're going to see any decisions from the NCAA in terms of championships until probably late June, early July at the earliest, maybe even later. I just don't get the sense that there's going to be any definitive decisions made until that kind of time frame. So I think you're looking at early July before we're going to have a sense of what does the NCAA championships timeline look like for fall sports. The other piece that probably is similarly important is what do our schools do? So I think for a lot of our member schools, they're probably looking at timelines even after that as when they would make final decisions, are students coming back to campus or not? And so that's kind of the next benchmark and key point in the timeline. We can talk about at the conference level all kinds of models and options, 100 contingency plans. But at the end of the day, it all depends on how many of our schools bring students back and, when do they bring them back. That then allows us to go forward with different options that we can look at. So to your point, from a timeline standpoint, I think those are two key parts. And then I think the third part will be the conference, what we do. My sense is we may not be making any decisions until mid to late July at the earliest. Again, all assuming that schools have made some decisions by that point. But if they wait further on their decisions, I think we could be looking at even later in the summer before we make any definitive decisions. Because ultimately, we at the conference level and our athletic departments at each campus, we want to do everything we can to give student athletes an experience and opportunities, their season. And so if that means delaying decisions to give us the best chance to do that, I think people would rather do that than necessarily make decisions now earlier, when then we could look back, later in the summer and say, if we would have waited, maybe we could have provided a bigger experience.
The last championships we had for the UMAC was basketball back in February, and Bethany hosted both of them. How nice was it for you as like a commissioner that you got to see both games in the same building?
Yeah, selfishly, that was ideal and nice for travel. That's for sure. I was up at the first day of indoor track and field championships in Superior that Friday, and stayed overnight, and then took off Saturday morning after track got started to come down to Mankato. So selfishly, it was very nice to have both of the basketball championship games at one site, and it created a great atmosphere. I think anybody that was there that night would affirm, it was a pretty electric atmosphere. The crowd was great, and throughout the whole night for both championship games, it had a great vibe to it. So from that aspect, in terms of the conference view, that also was great to kind of set up a fantastic evening on all fronts.
All right, I'll leave with one more question. When we get sports back and going again, the UMAC, they've won some games in the tournament. The girls won against Bethel this year. The men won a couple years ago against St. John's. What do you think the UMAC has to do, though, to maybe get more than one team in the tournament? Because right now it's like a one-bid conference.
Yeah, yep. So the way that the championship selection process is set up, it's all based upon a certain championship selection criteria. And a lot of that criteria includes things like strength of schedule, record against ranked teams in your region, probably two of the key pieces, in addition to, of course, winning percentage and overall record. And so what's pretty important for our schools to do if we're ever going to try, to increase the number of teams that we get in the NCAA and get some more at-large berths in the championship, our schools have to make sure they have a really strong strength of schedule. And the challenging part of that is obviously the tougher schedule you play, the more likely you're going to lose probably, some of those, but it also pushes you. So there's a fine line there of where is that line? But ultimately, our schools need to keep, scheduling tougher and tougher opponents out of our conference for their non-conference. Playing some of the best teams in the region is going to help our league and push us. And you still have to win some of those too. So it's not just playing them, but obviously winning some of those as well. But really our strength of schedule and our record against ranked opponents is going to have to, continue to improve and evolve if we're going to get more than the one team in that we automatically get in each season or each sport.
Well, I appreciate you joining me today, Corey, and one of your hectic Zoom meetings for today. I appreciate you taking time.
Oh, it's been fantastic. Appreciate the opportunity and look forward to engaging again down the road if we have that opportunity.
Welcome to the final first round matchup of the Bethany Initials Tournament. We have 4 more contestants. Today we have the women's basketball team with Hanna. The cross country, Sarah Presler's on 3 different teams, but she's going to represent the women's cross country. We got Logan Nissen representing the baseball team, and then Keegan Rich, the men's track. So let's first meet Hanna. You're the UMAC, coming off the UMAC Player of the Year for women's basketball. You upset Bethel for the first tournament win in Bethany. What was your emotion when the clock hit 0 there in your first tournament win?
It was really awesome, especially since I had fouled out. So I was just really happy that my team was able to pull it off.
All right, we'll move on to Sarah Presler. Sarah, you're, like I said, you're part of 3 different athletic teams at Bethany. And with this COVID-19 and quarantine, how are you keeping busy?
Yeah. I mean, running's kind of nice right now because you can do it whenever and wherever, and there's not really any restrictions on that. But with softball, it is a little harder just because you gotta do stuff on your own, and it's hard without your teammates. It's a lot harder without that. And I guess for running too, you lose your training partners, which makes it a lot harder. Also, it's harder to find motivation, I guess.
Well, hopefully this fall we can come back and get back on the swing of things. Logan, you're part of both teams for baseball, winning in the conference tournament. You played in Arizona, and then the season got called off. How tough was that for your senior year to be called short and in March?
It was tough because we flew down to Tucson having the expectation of a season, and then we were about halfway through our trip when the rumors and news started spreading that our season might get canceled. And we had a few meetings as a team in the lobby of the hotel, and it was just hard for us seniors and a few of the younger players to really think that we weren't going to have the rest of the season. So that was tough.
So they're giving back eligibility for spring sports. Are you going to come back then next year, or are you done with Bethany baseball?
Yeah, I'm coming back. I dropped a class this semester so I could come back next spring and finish up my eligibility.
Well, that's awesome. We look forward to next spring then. You back on the mound. All right, let's go to Keegan Rich, the last one. You play track, obviously. I'm just curious, every time I go on Twitter during the track season, it seems like you're pulling up a new record. How many records do you have right now?
I think it's only 2, maybe 3, but I just keep on breaking my own records, so that's kind of nice. Shows that I'm improving.
Do you have any more records you're eyeing for your final 2 years here?
Not really. Possibly the 200 meter. I know that Kevin had that, so I kind of want to get to where Kevin was. So, and then possibly the 60 meter as well.
Okay, well, let's get right to the game then now. So the winner of this goes to the championship round on next week. Tuesday we'll probably play again to see who wins the tournament. The rules we'll go through one more time. Contestants are given clues to 12 items, which can be people, place, things, anything. Each item has the same set of initials. Contestants are given up to 6 clues for each item. The person to ring in with their name is allowed 5 seconds to answer, and they can ring in at any time during the progression of clues. If they are correct, they get 1 point. If they are incorrect, the clues continue and other players are allowed to ring in. The winner of the initials game is whoever gets the most points. If there's a tie, there's a 3-clue tiebreaker is used for the tied contestants, and the tiebreakers will have the same initials as the original 12 items. You all good with that? All right, we'll go to the first item. Oh, I better say the initials first. I haven't said the initials. BS is the initials today. So each item, yeah, there's no profanity, so you don't have to worry about one of the items right there. But BS is the initials. So item number 1, clue number 1. This person is 6'4" with a wingspan of 7'1". Clue number 2, plays for the Storm.
Keegan,
All right, Keegan, what do you have?
Brianna Stewart.
Yes, it is Brianna Stewart. Keegan gets the first point. Also, I didn't say in the rules, no using other people, or friends or family members for the answers. So Keegan gets the first question correct. Let's go to item number 2, initials BS, clue number 1, born in Wichita, Kansas. Clue number 2, was a cowboy in college. Clue number 3, inducted in the NFL Hall of Fame in 2004. Clue number 4, has the most rushing yards in a single season in
Logan.
NCAA. Logan, what do you have?
Barry Sanders.
Yes, it's Barry Sanders. Logan is on the board, tied with Keegan. I don't know if did you guys see the Twitter poll that came out to see what fans thought was going to win?
Yeah, I'm sorry to whoever voted for me.
No, it's plenty of time. I saw Logan was the leader, and then last night when I looked at Hanna, just took a big spike in percentage. So you're the favorite. Do you feel any pressure right now, Hanna?
I'm not really worried. I wasn't really feeling too confident coming into it anyway, so.
There's still 10 items. There's plenty of time. You're only one behind. All right, we'll go to item number 3. BS is the initials. I love just saying BS. That's funny. All right. Clue number 1, happens Wednesday night in Hunzy Hall.
Logan.
Logan, what do you have?
Bible study.
Yes, Bible study is correct. And Logan takes the lead right there, 2-1. Any of you attend Bible study?
No.
No. Well, I think it's on Zoom now if you guys are ever interested. Going to item number 4, Logan leads Keegan 2-1. Sarah and Hanna looking to get on the board right here. So item 4, clue number 1, net worth $200 million. Clue number 2, this person dropped out of college at UCLA. Clue number 3, known for being in movies with Vince Vaughn. Clue number 4, acts as Gaylord Fokker in Meet the Parents. Clue number 5, wants to buy Average Joe's gym in the movie Dodgeball.
Keegan,
All right, Keegan.
Ben Stiller.
Yes, Ben Stiller is correct. Keegan evens up the score with Logan 2-2. Going to item number 5 now. Clue number 1, item number 5, born in Melbourne, Australia. Clue number 2, ambidextrous. Clue number 3, finally made his first career NBA three-pointer November 20th, 2019. Clue number 4, 2018 NBA Rookie of the Year.
Keegan,
All right, Keegan, what do you have?
Ben Simmons.
Yes, Ben Simmons, correct. 3-2, Keegan now, 2 in a row to take the lead. Going to item number 6, almost halfway there. Still plenty of time for Sarah and Hanna to make on a run here. Make things interesting.
Give us an easy one.
Yeah.
All right, I think this one will be interesting. Let's see. Item number 6, clue number 1, originated from a campfire song. Clue number 2, song that became extremely popular when released by Pink Fong in 2016. Clue number 3, now a kind of cereal. Clue number 4, the song has a dance that goes along with it. Clue number 5, Ellen and James Corden released their own version of this song. Final clue. Has over 5 billion views on YouTube. No one's got the song? Baby Shark is the answer.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
So that one's going to be null. No one gets item number 6. So Keegan still has a 3-2 lead. When I was looking up, I didn't know it was a cereal. I thought that was an interesting clue.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I did not know that.
All right, still, we're halfway there. Plenty of time for a comeback or Logan, or 3-2 right now. Keegan leads Logan. Item number 7, clue number 1. Net worth estimated to be around $400 million. Clue number 2, born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Clue number 3, 85 years old. Clue number 4, purchased the Seattle Pilots in 1970 for $10.8 million. Clue number 5, the 9th commissioner of Major League Baseball in 1998.
Logan.
All right, Logan.
Bud Selig.
Yes, it's Bud Selig. Logan evens up the score here with Keegan with 5 more clues to go. Going to item number 8 now. Clue number 1. Awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by Barack Obama in 2016. Clue number 2. Nicknamed the Boss. Clue number 3. Known for singing about his glory days. Clue number 4. Born in Long Branch, New Jersey, but he sings he's born in the USA.
Logan.
All right, Logan.
Bruce
the lead.
Springsteen.
Yes, Bruce Springsteen. Logan takes the lead. Sarah or Hannah, did you think of it? You had like these thinking faces like you're on to something, and Logan says, no? All right, we're down to the last 4 items. You're still alive. If one of you get all 4 here to even up Logan. Keegan, you're only 1 correct answer behind Logan. We're going to item number 9. Clue number 1. One of his hobbies is skateboarding. Clue number 2, voiced by Nancy Jean Cartwright. Clue number 3, known for being a rebellious kid. Clue number 4, lives in Springfield. Clue number 5, son of Homer and Marge.
Logan.
Clue. All right, Logan.
Bart Simpson.
Yes, it's Bart Simpson. Logan's on a roll here. With that correct answer, sorry, Sarah and Hannah, you're pretty much eliminated from winning, but still answer if you have the answer to these next 3 clues. We're on to item number 10 now. Keegan, you're still available to win this. 2 points behind Logan right now. 5-3, Logan leads. Item number 10, clue number 1. Founded in the year of 1910. Clue number 2, headquarters are in Irving, Texas. Clue number 3, they're known for selling popcorn. Clue number 4, they receive badges for jobs they do. Clue.
Oh, I know. Hannah.
All right, Hannah, what do you have?
Boy Scouts.
Yes, Boy Scouts is correct.
Yay.
Hannah is on the board. All right, Sarah, let's see if you can get one of these too. The very first
I
game.
thought of it right when she said it.
Yeah, that happens. That happened the first game. Allie and Trenton going for second place. They both are going back and forth with that. Just whoever says their name fastest. All right. So, Keegan, you need these last 2 to tie Logan. If Logan gets it or Sarah or Hannah gets one of these next 2 clues, Logan is going to the championship round next week. Item number 11, clue number 1. Played college basketball at Oklahoma State. Clue number 2, first head coaching job was at Oral Roberts. Clue number 3, first Power 5 head coaching job was at Illinois. Clue number 4, two-time AP Coach of the Year. Clue number 5, his only national championship win as a head coach was against Memphis in 2008. Final clue, number 6, he's the Kansas Jayhawks head basketball coach.
Keegan.
All right, Keegan.
Bill Self.
Bill Self is correct. We're going down to the last question. Keegan needs this to tie. If Logan, Hanna, or Sarah gets it, Logan's going to the championship. Keegan gets it. We're going to a tiebreaker. We've never had a sudden death tiebreaker yet, the first 2 rounds. So let's see if Keegan can force one right here. Final item. Item number 12. Clue number 1. Born in Ada, Oklahoma. Clue number 2. His debut single came out in 2001 called Austin. Clue number 3. Had a divorce with Miranda Lambert.
Oh.
Keegan.
Oh, Keegan, to force the tiebreaker, what do you have?
Blake Shelton.
Yes, it's Blake Shelton. And with that, we're going to our first ever tiebreaker here with the Bethany Initials Tournament. So it's only between Keegan and Logan. The item is still the same initials, and I'm only have 3 clues. So the first one to ring in, get the correct answer, gets the point. If no one gets it between the 3 clues, we'll go on to the next tiebreaker question. So whoever gets it for the first one to get the correct answer wins. So it could be 1 item, it could be more. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Tiebreaker item number 1. Clue number 1. Born in Macomb, Mississippi. Clue number 2. Has 56.1 million followers on Twitter. Clue number 3. Known for 2 albums. Baby, One More Time, and Oops, I Did It Again.
Keegan.
Keegan for the comeback win.
Britney Spears.
Yes, Britney Spears is correct. And Keegan runs the show at the end, gets 3 answers correct at the end to take the lead from Logan and wins 6-5. Going to the championship round next week. Thank you guys for playing today.
Thanks, Brock.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next week, everyone.